Changing Lanes, the official podcast of BMW. Welcome to this episode of Changing Lanes, the official podcast of BMW. My name is Jonathan.
And my name is Sarah.
And today on the podcast, we're diving into the darkness to meet the Black Beast. Today we're talking about the Vantablack X6, the world's blackest car.
Now, you may be thinking, yeah, right, whatever, black is just a color. What's the difference? Well, I have to tell you that the differences are huge. As someone who lives in the big city of Berlin, even when it's nighttime, there is still this gentle glow that hovers over the streets. It's never completely dark. But one time when I was in northern Ontario, because I used to live in Toronto, that's where I grew up, I spent a week in the Muskoka region of Toronto away from the city. And at night, that is darkness. That is blackness. And it was unbelievable to experience as, somebody who normally lives in a big city. And that black sky made the stars look even brighter. So there is so many variations of darkness.
Wow, what a great story. And that darkness, that's what we're going to be talking about today, this phenomenon of removing light, which makes black turn even darker. All right, so if I may get a little bit nerdy on everybody for a second.
Yes, definitely, Jonathan. Go for it.
Okay, great. So Vantablack was invented a couple of years ago, and it is the darkest paint in the world. And although paint is actually technically the wrong name because Vantablack is not actually a color pigment or a paint. It's not like, going to the hardware store and picking up a can of the deepest black that they have. Yes, Vantablack is used to, quote-unquote, paint the BMW X6, but it's actually a coating of carbon nanotubes. Now, these nanotubes have the property of absorbing, get this, 99.965% of visible light.
Wow.
It, absorbs it. So against a deep black backdrop, objects coated in Vantablack material, they seem to disappear completely. Now, the perception of spatial depth is gone. It's lost forever. Now, this is because the human eye perceives shapes coated in Vantablack to be only 2D. And when light strikes Vantablack, instead of that light bouncing off of it, the light actually becomes trapped and is continuously deflected amongst those tubes, eventually becoming absorbed and dissipating into heat.
Yeah, it's maybe kind of similar to the black night sky that I was talking about.
Yeah.
When all light is removed, you experience an even darker sense of the meaning of black. And this is precisely what UK-based Surrey Nanosystems developed, Vantablack.
Exactly. So you might be asking yourself, how is this all relating to BMW? Well, just hold on for one more second. There's one more thing that we need to tell you about Vantablack, and that is that the Vantablack variant VBX2 was originally developed for the fields of architecture, science, and space. It's useful when preventing stray light from entering telescopes, and it also helps improve performance of infrared cameras, both on Earth and in space. And this technology was originally developed for much bigger projects than just painting a car. Yeah, well, after all, Vantablack is very expensive, and it's used in higher-end technology where the budgets are obviously much larger than a car's paint job. So this is actually something very special for the automotive industry and especially for BMW. Exactly. And you may be asking yourself why. Well, the BMW X6 show car is the first car that has had the honor of being coated in the Vantablack variant VBX2, or any Vantablack variant for that matter.
See, we told you you'd find out how this all relates to BMW.
Now, this is groundbreaking, guys. Ever since Vantablack was first presented, people were wondering when the first car would be covered in it. And Ben Jensen, the inventor of the Vantablack pigment and founder of Surrey Nanosystems, he rejected a number of other car makers because their cars just didn't seem to fit the Vantablack look and feel. but the BMW X6 made the cut.
Yeah, it looks so amazing. The design elements like the illuminated kidney grille, the dual headlights, and the strikingly designed taillights, they just all contrast with that smooth surface of the light-absorbing paint. And now Vantablack also opened up a new perspective for the designers who are able to focus on silhouettes and proportions without having to consider reflections or shading or light. And it almost looks like a panther in the dead of night with its eyes gleaming at you, ready to pounce.
Oh, it's amazing. And, all this talk of the blackest black may be making you curious to see it for yourself. So if you want to see how awesome this is, hop on over to BMW.com and search for Vantablack to check out how they sprayed the VBX2 onto the car and check out the striking final images of the Black Beast. You really have to see it to believe it.
Yes, it's really a sight to behold. But, this talk about the car's sleekness and design features may make some of you wonder if you'll perhaps be able to buy the BMW X6 in Vantablack sometime soon. But unfortunately, I have to disappoint you. This show car is destined to remain a one-off. And why, you may ask? Well, the enormous difficulty involved in making Vantablack paint suitable for everyday automotive use is one of the factors.
Exactly. And another factor is the car paint needed for the world's blackest black would be extremely expensive. So even if you wanted to buy it, most people probably couldn't because of the extreme high price tag.
And there's another factor, and that is perhaps the most important factor: road safety. With such a high level of light absorption in the paint, the BMW X6 in Vantablack would be very difficult to see, especially at night. I mean, imagine driving in a poorly lit area in the countryside where the night is already darker than normal, and then the BMW X6 comes out of the blue, mere inches away from your car. It's just not safe.
No, not at all. But there is some good news, and that good news is that this technology is planned to be used for road safety. All right, so for example, in laser-based sensor arrangements for driver assistance systems and soon autonomous driving. And just like reducing the light in telescopes and space missions, Vantablack will also be used to help us humans stay safe on the roads. So you may not be able to drive a Vantablack-coated car, but Vantablack may be integrated into safety features of your car sooner than you actually think.
So there you have it. The BMW X6's super black, non-reflective paint makes it unique. I mean, never before has a car been painted in Vantablack, and it's truly something to be seen. I really cannot stress this enough. Everyone, do go to the website at bmw.com and check it out for yourself. It truly is as black as night.
Yes, it is. There you go. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Changing Lanes.
And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to our podcast for future episodes.
And to dive deeper into all things BMW, head on over to bmw.com to learn more.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jonathan.
And this has been Changing Lanes.
See you next time.